Good evening. Good evening, Gilhuys, West Ruimveldt. I bring greetings to you first from my family and from the wider APNU AFC coalition. I want you to understand that the APNU AFC coalition, its mission, its purpose, and the reason for its existence is delivering to each and every one of you the good life, irrespective of race, religion, gender, or geographic location in this country. This APNU AFC is a mighty political organization that you support. It's not a pure little party that started last week, Tuesday, my comrades. It's a party that is committed to the equitable distribution of the resources of Guyana, irrespective of whoever you are. And don't look at your face. This APNU AFC coalition, I want you to understand, has a fantastic track record of delivering better for each and every one of us. It has done in that short period fantastic. It has ensured that the working public of this country has received better salaries, better education, better housing, better water, better health, better infrastructure, better jobs. There have been economic growth and there have been reduced crime. You know, as we consider these elections and who we're going to be voting for, I want you to understand that the measure of a proper political party that has been in government is its commitment to ensuring that there's human development across the board. And this political organization, APNU, has done fantastic in that regard also. It can demonstrate to each and every one of us here this evening that it's concerned for the well-being of everyone here and everyone in this country. The salaries have increased by over 70%. Pensions have increased over 60%. The school feeding program has quadrupled beyond imagination. In 2015, a few hundred children in this country were receiving the benefit of a proper meal. Today, it is over 15,000 children daily throughout the length and breadth of this country. The government has spent to date over $170 billion in education, because that is the only way in which we're going to move and reduce the inequalities in this society. This year alone, the government has committed to spend over $52 billion in education. It has spent and created a $100 million revolving fund to ensure that loans and grants are available for women and young people to become qualified and become independent. For example, through the Women of Work scheme and the Small Business Development Unit. I want you to remember, ladies and gentlemen, as you consider who to vote for, that the PPP have said that people like you are at the bottom of the social ladder. I want you to think about the implications of that. Not only at the bottom of the social ladder, but the PPP, because of their wickedness, has managed to snatch the other rungs off the ladder. So you're stuck at the bottom. And there is where you remain for 23 years, until the APNU AFC government came to power. And we've restored the means to ensure that you would have a hand up and a foot up to ensure that you have a better life for you and your family. That is the purpose of APNU AFC. It's not to create wealth for the ministers, despite all the numerous accusations and the false stories that they've been peddling throughout the country. The women folk in this country are better off. The government has also spent billions of dollars ensuring that there's maternal care established and institutions established, maternal waiting rooms established throughout the length and breadth from Letem to Sadi in this country. So this is a government that I want you to understand supports and values everybody, in particular the women and youth, and they've demonstrated that in their programs. What has been the record of the PPP from 1992 to 2015, comrades? The record is short, dirty, and criminal. Over 6,000 children. I want you to imagine this. We lived it, but we couldn't even realize because of they had their foot on our necks. I want you to understand that over 6,000 children fell out of school annually under the PPP. Thousands of children went to school hungry. You would know what I mean. Thousands of illiterate children just simply passed through the schools by the false education programs that they put in place for us. And the construction of jobs, the construction of hospitals and schools was all for the sole purpose of ensuring that there are jobs for themselves and monies as a device to run away with. So I've pointed out and I've laid out there for you, ladies and gentlemen, what has been the core achievements in the area of human development by the APNU AFC government over 4 years. So the question is, do you want the PPP back in power?
No! We want it! Never again!
Are you going to stop the progress now? No! The election, March 2nd, 2020, is an important election. You've heard every speaker tonight point out the importance of this election. This election is so important that it determines the future of this country, the future of our children and their children's children. It's a mega election. As the Minister of Finance said, it is a mother of all elections. It requires each and every one of us to step up, to be vigilant and to be responsible. You have to step up for our families, our friends, and our country. There's no room for error. There's no room for indecision. There's no room for any accident. We have to understand what is at stake, ladies and gentlemen, in these elections. And I want you to understand that the APNU AFC has a program beyond March 2nd, 2020. The program beyond March 20th, 2020 is summarized under the Decade of Development Strategy outlined by our President. This program will see the transformation of Guyana. It's going to be a spectacular development. We're going to move this country forward by providing it as an engine. We're going to ensure that we will have a petroleum state, an energy state, a digital state, and a green state. This will be the engine for development. This will provide jobs for you, a better quality of life for your family. So APNU AFC has not just a program before these elections, but we have a plan that will take us forward and provide each and one of you with a better quality life. You know, we have to also understand what is at stake economically in this country. And before I raise this issue with you, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that history has a strange way of coming back full circle. And Guyana was at this point before. Pastor Dainty touched on it this evening, and I hope you were listening. In 1992, the PNC lost the elections to the PPP. And for 23 years, the country experienced crime, suffering, and punishment. I want you to understand that in 1992, and the records are there to show that the economic recovery program established under Desmond Hoyt had Guyana growing, had Guyana increasing jobs and providing a better quality of life at that point in time. But the supporters, the people who went out to vote, were not keen, were not vigilant, were not committed, and the PPP came to power. And for 23 years, we were lost. We fell off the rail. There was crime, death, and punishment throughout this country. So I want you to understand that this is your second chance. This is your second chance to ensure that under this government that cares for you, you stand up and be vigilant and turn out and vote in that election. Because we know what is going to happen. Now, I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, and you're not going to read this in the newspapers because they too have an agenda. And I'm not afraid to say it is an agenda against this government. This is the truth. A few days ago on the internet, and you can go and check it at the internet cafe set up by the minister present here today, Ms. Hughes, you will see that Guyana is scheduled to be the next wealthiest country in the world. Not just in the Caribbean, not just in South America, not in this hemisphere, but in the world. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has declared that this country is going to grow 86% just on the basis of the oil production that the PPP wanted to stop. We're not including the other areas, gold, diamond, and bauxite. It's going to go 86% this very year of the election. This year alone, the country is going to receive $300 million from the oil production. By 2025, the country will receive $5 billion at minimum every year. This has not come about easy. This has come about because of the diligence and hard work of the leader of this country and the cabinet of this country and the APNU AFC coalition. Now, the question is, ladies and gentlemen, that I have for all of you here, who can you trust to be the custodians of such unimaginable wealth? Such wealth that will transform this country, empower people, empower children, and provide them with a future. We who can vote when we are dead and gone must remember today and remember these elections as a time when we stood up and provided the future for this country. Can you put this sort of money, can you put your future in the hands of the PPP? I want to ask you, can you trust Barra Javier? Can you trust Sam Hines? Irfan Ali? Gail Teixeira? Mohamed Nanulal? What about Clement Rory? Edgel? You're on the right track, ladies and gentlemen, because you have lived it. You know the experience, you know the pain, and you know the risk. I want you to understand that from the year 2001 to 2011, $5 billion US dollars vanished from the treasury of Guyana under the PPP. Can you imagine in 1 year this country earning $5 billion US dollars? What do you think you're going to do with it? You tell me what you're going to do with it. Guyana, ladies and gentlemen, is at the point of fantastic transformation.
Yes.
And the choice in this election is between a government that will continue that transformation, that will empower each and every one of us, or we can return, God forbid, to a small group, a small cabal of thieves, vagabonds, and rogues who will snatch our children's future from us and ensure, without doubt, another lost generation, another generation of deprivation, another generation of hopelessness. It is in your hands, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the power of the vote. It's in your hands to determine what it will be. I ask you to be responsible. I ask you to have a memory and to determine what is in your family's best interest and what is in the country's best interest. I want to discuss with you, ladies and gentlemen, because I want you to understand very clearly, and you must have no doubt about what we have to do and the direction that we have to go. I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, why Irfan Ali is the presidential candidate for the PPP seat. We have to talk about it. Because they're going to be coming in the communities telling you all sorts of lies. And once you understand that, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to know what to do and you're going to know what to tell them. The only reason why Irfan Ali is the presidential candidate of the PPP is because Bharat Jagdeo cannot run again. I want you to appreciate that. The law was passed in 2000 and he signed the law into effect. He demitted office, but he tried to backpedal to ensure that the law was destroyed and was struck down by the CCJ, and the CCJ knocked him down. So he had 2 terms, and he's now trying to have a 4th term. The 3rd term was the term of Donald Ramatar. So he already had 3. This man thinks Guyana belongs to him. He thinks that he's an emperor, but he's an emperor without clothes. Because we know him and we know what he gives. So I want you to understand that Bharat Jagdeo is a cunning man. He's a devious man. He's a calculated man. You saw what happened on December 21st in the parliament. That can only be a scheme of the wicked. I want you to listen carefully, my brothers and sisters. This is serious business we're dealing with here. It may look as a joke, but this is serious business. I remember our families crying. I remember bodies being dumped in the cemetery and all over. 4 good years of good life cannot erase those memories. The same people who were there are still there in the PPP. They have not changed. And they're shameless to come back to this public, to come back to you, and even think that they could even put up a candidate for an election. They should be ashamed. They should be running at the back trying to escape to Brazil or somewhere. But they have the gumption to stand up and to put up a candidate before you. So I want you to understand that because of the deviousness of Bharat Jagdeo, he will not pick a candidate who he does not have control over. I want you to know that Irfan Ali is a disciple. He's a disciple of Bharat Jagdeo. He's the sidekick of Bharat Jagdeo. He's a believer of the program of Bharat Jagdeo. We have to understand that this is a battle for this country. This is a battle. The pastor tonight put it properly. It's a spiritual battle. It's a philosophical battle. Are we going to stand on the side of the poor, the depressed, those who they call at the bottom of the social ladder? Are we going to run and support like headless chickens, people who want to oppress you? Are you going to give your own support to people who want to destroy you, who want to keep you poor and suffering? These are the fundamental questions that you have to ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, at these elections. And I want you to know that he is a disciple of Bharat Jagdeo. Bharat Jagdeo wants another term. He wants to create further a legacy, but it's a legacy of tears, it's a legacy of blood, it's a legacy of sadness. You know, every time anybody say anything about Bharat Jagdeo, the PPP and their friends jump up and down. And every publication, every document written is done by Congress Place and Apnu AFC and the Change House. But I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that that is not so. And I want you to understand what is this legacy that Bharat Jagdeo is trying to impose on this country and impose through his puppet, Irfan Ali. Yes. And I want you to forgive me because we have some rules here, you know, but I want you to forgive me. There's a document published a few years ago by the Center of Hemispheric Affairs. It was released in January the 27th, 2011. And I want to read a few snippets of it for you to appreciate what is at stake at this elections. And this is how it starts off. Stagnation, violence, corruption, arch sectarianism, and unfettered crime. This is the heritage that Barra Jagdeo will bequeath to his country. This is not APNU AFC saying this. I want you to listen to that. Through his tolerance of crime, racism, and dismal progress, he has turned in a fifth-rate performance. And Barra Jagdeo will go down in history as a man who did almost nothing for his nation while in office. Tell me why. Tell me why we should even consider them as an option.
Never again.
Public spending under the PPP on education was reduced. There's no reason why for us to wonder why crime went up, why the young children could not find a proper future and would lost focus. I want you to remember this also, and this is in the document that I don't want you to know about. Jagdeo's tenure will also be remembered for the spike in violent crimes experienced throughout Guyana, an issue exacerbated by the repeated extrajudicial killings on the part of the state authorities. Since 2001, the Phantom Death Squad, with allegedly connections to government agencies, also called the Black Poles Police, you remember them? Yeah. Have been linked to some over 400 murders. You know the people that they murder. It's your family and your friends. It's your cousins and your neighbors.
Yo, stop. Hey, murder them. Hey, don't.
The people conclude that on balance, Jagdeo failed during his presidency to advance freedom and fairness of Guyanese public life, or the inequities of the society, and the increased economic growth was never translated for the benefit of the ordinary people in this country. So you understand, ladies and gentlemen, what is the legacy that Barra Jagdeo is trying to perpetuate again. And now let us turn our attention to the so-called presidential candidate himself. He is a man who's coming before you to seek election to the highest office in this country with 19 fraud charges. 19, ladies and gentlemen. That is unimaginable. That shows the level of contempt that the PPP have for the citizens of this country. His visa has been revoked by the Canadian government. And up to now, we can't figure out, and he can't produce, and we're going to see things in the near future, he can't even produce where he got his degrees from. That can't be the type of man that you want to be the role model for your children. We cannot allow our children to consider that that is somebody to aspire to, ladies and gentlemen. You know, in the Counsel newspaper of the 1st of January 2012, it's amazing when you look back at the newspapers, you know. It records so much. And this is what the newspaper said about Irfan Ali. That after 2 years as a minister, at 21 years of age, he acquired a multi-million-dollar mansion with a multi-million-dollar pool house. The pool house is valued at $69 million. You see who these people will be looking after. Pool house. The cost of the construction for this house was projected to be $300 million. And the fence, because of the construction of this fence for his estate, no different, was said to be 50 million Guyana dollars. So you tell me again if this is the sort of person that you want in office. In the same newspapers, ladies and gentlemen, the Kaisho News declared that 2011 was a year replete with scampishness, secret deals, and downright skullduggery. So, as we consider our choices at these elections, I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, for the working people of this country, for the ordinary people of this country, the choice is clear. The choice is the APNU AFC coalition under the distinguished and visionary leadership of His Excellency David Archer Granger. And I ask you to come out in your numbers and vote overwhelmingly for this political party, because we cannot afford to go back to a one-seat government. We want an overwhelming, commanding majority come March 3rd at the elections. This is a partnership, ladies and gentlemen. Coming out to the meetings is nice. Putting on your green jersey is nice. Blowing the horn is nice. Dancing to the music is nice. But what is really required is the commitment to wake up 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock on the morning of 2nd of March, wake up your friends, wake up your family, and go out and vote for your life, for the life of this country. Long live APNU AFC, long live Guyana. Thank you very much.